Hare Krishna.
You
Oh,
can try, it's not difficult.
yes, thank you. Hridayam Udyamo Harbhasya Kamashikri Dishanyataha Swatasya cha katham Nivritasya Sadanyataha. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Nicely.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to try?
Hare Krishna. Kridayam udyamo yamo ribasya kamash chikridishanyataha swatas triptasya cha katam nivritasya sandanyataha. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Anyone else want to try? Is Mother Bindavali doing okay? She used to join the call in the mornings. I don't know. I was away for a month, so I don't know. Okay. Anyone else want to try? Reciting Srimad Bhagavatam is always purifying, actually. Even though it is done, what do you call, pronunciation or, incorrectly or with faults, but our intention. So no need to worry about reciting. Anybody can try. Okay, no problem. We'll do the synonyms. Thank you. Kridayam, in the matter of playing. Udyamaha, enthusiasm. Arvasya, of the boys. Kama, desire. Chikridisa, willingness to play. Anyataha, with other boys. Swataha, triptasya, for one who is self-satisfied. Cha, also. Katham, what for? Nibritasya, one who is detached. Sada, at all times. Anyataha, otherwise. Very interesting questions. Okay, this is translation. Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he is the self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. Purport. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without a second, there is no possibility that anything besides him can exist. He expands himself by his energies in multi-forms of self-expansions and separated expansions as well, such as fire expands itself by heat and light. Since there is no other existence besides the Lord himself, the Lord's association with anything manifests his association with himself. I'll repeat that again. Since there is no existence besides the Lord himself, the Lord's association with anything manifests his association with himself. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina mastani sarva bhutani nachaham te svastitaha. The complete manifestation of the cosmic situation is an expansion of the Lord himself in his impersonal feature. All things are situated in him only, yet he is not in them. That is the opulence of the Lord's attachment and detachment. He is attached to everything, yet he is detached from all. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbisesa Sunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Vidura is inquiring from Maitreya. Again, I'll repeat the translation. Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. Hare Krishna. Good morning. I'd like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas to summarize this verse today. I see Mother Vindyavalina. Hare Krishna. So that's nice. And thank you, Mother Sangita, for joining and giving your blessings. Suman Mataji, Bhavagai Prabhu, Dhanachari Prabhu, and can't figure out the names. Amal Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we will try to make it a little interactive today. It's an interesting question, isn't it? This whole conversation is happening between Vidura and Maitreya. Vidura is asking some questions sometimes, interesting questions. Sometimes we get inquisitive people. The kids, some of the kids and some of the students, they will ask always the inquisitive questions. And especially kids nowadays, if you just tell them that chant Hare Krishna because my father did, and my mother did, I did, and you also do it, what will be the response? Suman Mataji, what will be the response? I'm not going to do. They want justification. They will counter question. They will counter question. So Vidura is inquiring, putting forward all these questions. It's very relevant, and these questions are always being asked now also. What the previous question was, is that, O great Brahmana, since the personality of Godhead is the complete spiritual whole and is unchangeable, how is he connected with the material modes of nature and their activities? So, because many times it is mentioned that the Lord is transcendental to these three modes. And Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, I do not come in contact with the material modes, material nature. If you do not come in contact with the material nature, then how he claims to be the cause of everything, how he claims to be he the creator, maintainer, annihilator, everything. Isn't it all this bewildering, puzzling questions? Yeah, these are very puzzling actually. That's why knowing Krishna is not very easy. Knowing God is not very easy. Krishna is transcendental. How does he create and maintains and manifest? All these manifestations. The previous chapter, he described, how his universal creation is created, and how the demigods are created. Everything comes from this universal body, and it's bewildering because the Lord is transcendental. What he has to do with this universal body? It's bewildering to all living entities. So many people have different opinions. You will see it, especially nowadays. If you go to YouTube's, you will find the YouTube channels for so many, transcendentalists and philosophers and so many spokespersons. They propagate their own opinions, the different opinions and conclusions, by material scientists and transcendentalists. Material scientists will, with their day-to-day research from years and years of research, and what their conclusion. Yet the conclusion is that matter is the cause of its manifestation, universal manifestation. Matter is the only cause, root cause. And every day they do further research only to claim this statement only. Prove that there is no supreme being, there is no consciousness behind it. Matter is the cause of everything. And hardly anyone accepts that. Or any university boldly recognizes, no, we fail it. We fail to understand, we fail to explain. So their conclusion is matter is the cause of manifestations, everything. And some people, some transcendentalists, what their opinion is that, okay, the Lord was existing before, and he manifested into this universal form, universal creation. Now, because he expanded himself into this universal manifestation, it means he lost his identity. He does not exist anymore. How already manifested into this material form, gigantic form, or universal body. So he doesn't have any his form. He lost his form. It's like you have $100 and you give $200 somebody else. How much will be left over? Of course, from material point of view, 0. But from spiritual point of view, for Krishna, it's not 0. It still remains 100. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Interestingly, even if $100, if you give $100 to somebody, still remains $100 with you. That's the point of spiritual understanding. But materialistic thoughts, they cannot understand. Even this is accepted. This is understood by some of the transcendentalists. They say that now the Lord has taken this material form. He lost his spiritual identity. It's like 100 minus 100 is 0. Then someone will say, oh, he also becomes subjected to the influence of Maya. Look how he's acting like an ordinary child. Like Lord Brahma also got bewildered by seeing, Krishna is playing with ordinary boys and fighting or playing and dancing and all these things. He's confused. What's happening here? And just like an ordinary child. So some conclude that even the Lord also comes under the influence of Maya. Then how come he's Lord? There are so many transcendentalists, the philosophers, they preach on this. So even after the transcendentalists, they know so many verses, they study the Vedas, they refer the Vedas, they speak on Vedas, yet everyone fails to explain or realize the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The reason is because, as Krishna explains in 11th chapter itself, and many places, is that, neither by knowledge, nor by renunciation, nor by austerity, no one can know me. Neither one can understand my universal form, nor one can understand my 400 form, nor one can able to see my this 200 form. Neither one understands nor can see. Forget about it. The only reason is because one has not taken shelter of the Lord. That's only the missing point. Ahankara vimudatma kartaram manyate. Because we are covered with ahankara at the beginning and Mahatattva, in the chapter 5, we read it. You all remember from Mahatattva first what manifested? Ahankara manifested, isn't it? So the first and foremost transformation happens, covering happens to the living entity, is actually we are covered with ahankara. And when we are covered with ahankara, our beginning of knowledge, realization, experience, everything is false. It's like Prabhupada explains the 4 defects of the human being. Four defects. What is that? We have our senses are imperfect. Okay, because our senses imperfect, we get illusioned. Right, because our senses are imperfect. Every field, it doesn't have to be just looking at the sun. Oh, I'm seeing the sun, I'm understanding something, but sun has different definition or potencies by scientists and spiritualists. Scientists, they say it's a huge ball with so much of energy is constantly evolving, and spiritualists say, oh, they see that there's a sun god riding in a horse. I don't know, I think 5 horses or something like that, constantly riding in a horse, and so many residents are there. So it's different, but with my limited senses, I get illusioned and I come to a wrong conclusion. What is the wrong conclusion? That I commit mistake. I give my definition on the sun, like so on. So look, I'm seeing by myself here. What you're seeing, I cannot accept you. I'm seeing with my own eyes, but our eyes is imperfect, shortcomings. So because I have a shortcoming, then I get illusion. Then what I do, I commit mistake. Because then I see hot as cold, cold as hot. I give my conclusions. There's no God in this material world. In this world, there's no supreme being behind this. So that's my conclusion. Then what I do, I cheat. I cheat others by this, all these things, because I already committing mistakes. Then I cheat others by giving my philosophies, my understanding, my thought. I cheat others. This is what is going on, whole world. So in Bhagavad Gita also, as Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna, saying, Name vidu suragana prabham nam harshaya aham adi devana harshnam cha sarvasa. He says, this so many demigods, host of demigods, there's so many sages. There's so many sages, transcendentalists also. Not necessarily all sages can understand the Supreme Lord. Not necessarily all devatas know the Supreme Lord. These devatas are offering prayers at the beginning because, you remember, they're offering prayers because they know at least they're a little conscious. But not all devatas are conscious of the Supreme Lord fully. They accept, they recognize, but not necessarily they know everything. So that's why Krishna is saying, neither the demigods nor the sages know my origin or opulence, for in every respect I'm the source of the demigods and I'm sages. It's like, I am born from my parents, but I don't know who my parents are. I'm born from my parents, but I don't know who my parents are. How do they look? Do they exist? Some orphans, if they haven't seen their parents, they may deny that I'm born from someone's home also. Possibility is there. There can be possibility they can deny. So, even though everything comes from Krishna, but the great sages and great, devatas also fail to understand the Krishna's position. It's like, so many zeros, so many zeros. And all these zeros, even if you work so hard, in whatever field, either outside, inside, in temple, in a personal life, and unless and until we add that one, those zeros has no real value. We will not come to a conclusion and we will not be fruitful also. So Maitreya is explaining, in the previous chapter, he explained that knowing the potencies of the Lord is very, very difficult. He said that Brahma, after mature meditation of 1,000 celestial years, also has failed to understand. He could only know the glories of the Supreme Lord as inconceivable. That's it. Anyone can explain, what that mean would be? Maitreya is saying, Brahma, after 1,000 years of meditation, austerity, celestial years. So he could only know that the glories of the Supreme Lord are inconceivable. Means he fails to explain, he fails to understand, he fails to explain such unlimited potencies of the Supreme Lord. The simple word he ate is inconceivable. That's it. Don't ask me more. No one can will be able to explain the potencies of the Supreme Lord. And the wonderful potency of the Supreme Lord is bewildering even to the jugglers. That potency is unknown even to the self-sufficient Lord. That's more than Brahma. It is said, Maitreya Muni is saying, even it is not known to the self-sufficient Lord also. How is it possible? So if it's not known to the Lord, it's not known to the others also. But Supreme Lord, that's the Achintya philosophy comes. Krishna doesn't know all these potencies. At the same time, Krishna knows his potencies through his all cognizant potency. So that's Achintya. He doesn't know, he knows. If he wants, he can forget everything. If he wants, he can know everything. It's interesting, people, how he act wonderful, like, he's not connected with this material world. He has nothing to do. Still, he creates and everything. And without being entangled into this, how does he create? How does he maintain? Anything is possible. And in this material world, we also see so many examples we can see. My son, many times, to operate something called, hey Siri, can you tell what is the weather today? Anyone uses Siri or Google to ask weather or certain questions? Does anyone ask like that? Does anyone? Children use a lot. So you can try it if you don't have it. And in fact, my Gaura has a light bulb also in his room, and he just, I think he claps like this. He claps, the light bulbs on, or he asks for the bulb to turn it on. Interesting. He has not directly contacted with the object. Still, it is functioning. An ordinary child, they are acting, and the material nature works in such a way that with sound, it is functioning. Similarly, nowadays, these self-driving cars are coming more and more. We can see self-driving. You just sit there in the car and tell, go to this place, this address, ISKCON of Philadelphia. Then the car will go and park it over there. All these things sounded very, very wonderful in the past, isn't it? I remember in India, when we see any store you go in America, any store you go, the doors automatically open, isn't it? And those days, there used to be a story, Alibaba and Charlie's Chor. I don't know if you all know. Alibaba and 40 Thieves, something. Anyone heard about it? So they used to show
Yeah.
So if you clap, the doors will open and you can get into it. We all used to watch like this with big eyes. Hey, how does it happen? Isn't it? Anyone used to see that? You just clap, or you just say sound. You say some mantra you do, or give instruction, open that door in their language, and it would open the door. And the thieves used to enter like this. There's a code. And those are sounded like very much wonderful to us. But now everyone, you go to bank, you go to store, wherever you the door opens, and door closes after that. It's no more wonderful things. If ordinary living entity, we can have such kind of things. Ordinary insignificant living entity, a child also can experience all these things. And what is the difficulty? What is the difficulty for the Supreme Lord? Actually, this helped me understand more, and this experience helped me understand more about the potencies of Supreme Lord. It's just by His will. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Taba ichha, according to your will, what happens? Brahma creates. According to your will, Shiva annihilates. According to your will, Vishnu maintains. There's a nice, beautiful version. I can, if you have time, we will do it. So, according to your will, just Krishna wills, and everything happens. And I think man is also trying to create something, right? Whatever you desire is going to happen. You don't have to even have the sound. I heard that, if you just think of it and it'll happen. It's going to be very dangerous anyway if they do like this. So in the material world, we have seen all these things. How does the Lord, he does not come in contact, yet he is maintained and created, everything happens. Is this Dāsa Lord Chaitanya explains as an achintya sakti. Achintya sakti is our philosophy. We understand the inconceivable nature of the Supreme Lord. Maya tatamidam sarvam yat jagad avyakt murtina mastani sarva bhutani na chaham te samastita. The complete manifestation of the cosmic situation is an expansion of the Lord himself in his impersonal feature. How is it like that? Everything is within him. He is the only one. Then how come all this thing he's separate from it? All things are situated in him only, yet he is not in them. Isn't it? That's what this verse explains. Yeah. Let me share the verse again. This is what. The complete manifestation of the cosmic situation is an expansion of the Lord himself in his impersonal feature. So this itself says that this manifestation is separate from the Lord. All things are situated in him only, yet he is not in them. Isn't it puzzling and bewildering? That's why this philosophy is called Achintya Sakti of the Lord. That is the opulence of the Lord's attachment and detachment. Is attached or detached? Is he attached or detached? Is both. How is it possible for both? So he's attached to everything and yet he's detached from all. These are the Achintya, Achintya Sakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see in this material world, because of lack of understanding, recognition of the Supreme Lord, and everyone is trying to lord over. He said, there is no God in it. Every place. It's like there is no God, there is no controller. And the Kali is so strong and powerful. And we can see the wars everywhere, and to lord over and to enjoy the resources of this evil world. I was never involved into politics, understood why they fight and everything. Now I'm paying attention a little bit in YouTube. They say, oh, this resource is there, let's take that. This resource is there, let's take that. It's human tendency. Enjoy the resources, not recognizing who does it belong. But the Upanishad first mantra itself, second mantra itself is giving the whole education for how we should be living. The wars and fights just to enjoy, lord over the material resources of this world, not recognizing who does it belong to, and it's causing fear and anxiety into the hearts of many. Constant fear and anxiety everywhere. And in that manifest in our communities also many times, in how we act, how we treat. And it's because of very simple. It's because of disconnection from the Supreme Lord. Disconnection from the Supreme Lord. So anytime something happens which is not conducive to Krishna consciousness, we can know that there is disconnection from the Supreme Lord. So that's why we have to bring back with sincere efforts the connection of Krishna. Krishna factor has to be there in our life. And then all these problems will be very easy for us to overcome. As Sutta Goswami explains, Kale dosa nidhe rajan asti eka mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajat. All these issues, all these problems in this world and there and yet to come will be very easily overcome when we chant the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead individually and collectively. So again, in summary, this verse is Vidura is saying boys are acting in this way because they have a desire. They play with another friend, and they have different adventures. But Krishna is Atmaram. He's self-satisfied. He's self-situated. Everything is in him itself. And then how come he performs all such activities? Is actually bewildering. And these questions, what Vidura is asking, actually it is on behalf of everybody. We should not be thinking that Vidura is asking. No, he knows that. Just like Arjuna asked these questions to Krishna, constantly in Bhagavad Gita, he asked on behalf of all of us. He knows that these questions will be raised. So same way, Vidura's question or Parikshit Maharaj's questions are also actually they inquired for all of us. I may not be directly inquiring this particular question, but there are so many other living entities. They will ask, hey, if Lord is self-sufficient, self-content, why he has to do all these things? Why he is manifesting? How does he do? If he doesn't come in contact with the material nature, how does he do? So that's why Bhagavatam explained, how he entered with his energy into each and every elements, Kali. So Kali is his potency. He expands himself super soul. That's the Lord's potency, that he has that ability. I cannot enter into something else. If I enter into something else, then this body is dead for me. Because I'm the only one. I don't have those potencies, but Lord has these potencies. Parasya Sakti Vivideva Suyate. He has multifarious potencies. These potencies act for his pleasure. I'll pause it here. Sorry if it's too much of philosophical. I request all please share and correct me. Any questions, comments on this? Was it too difficult? Did I? Any questions, comments, reflections? Mother Sangeeta, you would like to say something? I know Dhanacharya was probably traveling.
No, it was a really nice class, Prabhu. Thank you so much. When I was listening to you, I was thinking that all anxiety in this material world comes from that disconnection to Krishna, as you put it, that disconnection. It was a great way to say it. And so I was realizing that, like all our anxieties come from that. It all stems from that. And if we could just connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead through Srila Prabhupada and Guru, then that would be the perfection of our life, and all those anxieties would be gone.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah.
It actually is, Prabhupada would say it's very simple. He would actually say a lot in Los Angeles when he would give class, just chant, dance, and when you are tired, take prasadam. He said it's so simple, even a child could do it. So it really is, it's not that deep of a philosophy. It's actually very simple. He would point that out a lot. This is very simple process. So it's not that it's the philosophy, of course, is deep, but we don't have to know that deep. We don't have to go that deep. It's actually a very simple process, and that's how he would put it.
Right. Yeah, you thank you. Yeah. One doesn't have to know how the medicine is formed.
Right. You just have to take it. That's a good point. Thank you.
Someone is inquisitive, okay, study more. Now, many times, yeah, thank you for making that point. When I'm also sometimes anxiety or anxious, so I remind myself, I'm not reading books. When I read books, it really feels so good.
Yeah.
Content and all this anxiety fears goes because you are connected with Krishna, reading books yourself.
Because you're associating with the author, and
Yeah.
it goes back to the parampara, but we're with Srila Prabhupada when we're reading his books.
Yeah.
And what could be better association than a pure devotee?
Yes.
So thank you.
Anyone has any comments, questions? Okay, so it's 8:33. If Bhavagrahi Prabhu, you want to say something? If he's there, yeah. No?
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hari
Actually, I was feeling about Yasoda Mata when when Krishna was born, and he came with four hands in all the full form. He came. Then what he says, not in the jail. He was the Vasudev. Vasudev says, no, we cannot see. They come in two hand forms. So in fact, they themselves were like that. So who are we to know him at all? And they couldn't stand. They want just a little child with two hands only. And a lot of times, Yasoda Mata, now she didn't know that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All those things. When he was eating dirt, she wanted to ask him to open the mouth. She was not. She didn't know that she had a Supreme Personality of Godhead in their lap. Those are the things even those people couldn't know, that who were just small insects like me. We know about Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has all those. There are some reasons. And too many questions enough we ask. I think these kids, they ask too many questions. Confusion is more.
Well, asking question is symptom of intelligence. That's okay. One can use it because one should submit. Those who ask questions, they take it very seriously when they're convinced. They submit like anything. That's our process. Bhakti yoga is called buddhi yoga.
Yeah.
Remember, only if you just accept only on mental platform because I like it. Today we like it, we may not like it tomorrow. Sunday I didn't like it last week, so I may not go to this week. Pasta or paneer on Sunday feast. So that's the way we will do like this. Or somebody didn't treat me well.
Yeah.
Like all are sensual and mental platform. But asking question, when you ask question, when we're convinced with intellectually, then we can take the process very seriously, irrespective of whatever comes on my way. Vyavasayatmika buddhi comes, where determination comes. That's very important. The children are very inquisitive. They're trained now to like that way, and we should be ready, equipped to answer or guide them appropriately. Many parents, they don't guide them, and because they don't take it, so they don't guide them to children also.
That's true.
Situation we have in this world at this time.
Brahma Vimohan Leela also, it was like that. He thinks that Krishna, he can cheat, he can steal all the boys and cowherd boys and cows. But he realizes later on,
Right.
So that is another thing.
Gopananda Priya Mataji, you want to say something? Suman Mataji.
No, I'm thinking that we have to cut our desires to connect to Krishna, but cutting the desire is very difficult. We are so entangled here. We try to connect to Krishna, but cutting desire is so difficult. How to do that?
I think that's not the process of our bhakti. Our process is not cutting the desire, rather improving our connection with Krishna. It's like Krishna, Surya, Sama, Maya, Andhakara. Purifying our desires, basically. We don't cut the desires because you purify your desires. Earlier, your desire was, I want to do and I'm doing everything because it pleases me. Now, after knowing well, even if somebody chastises me, my authority, I will still continue to serve. That is Krishna's, trying to satisfy Krishna's desire. Example, I'm just, some example I'm giving, because you may not like it, we may run away. So now, I have to satisfy Krishna. And what is that meaning? Maravi rakhobi jo icha tohar. Whether Krishna
Yeah.
me and punishes me, whatever it is, through that, I still don't mind with all this. I'm focused on that. So basically,
Dāsa.
yeah, satisfying Krishna's desire that's purifying our desire. It's not like we can never be desireless. We don't have to cut that desire. In fact, our desires, and we have to look into what is my desire is, and Krishnaize it, make it Krishna conscious. Okay, I want to eat nice food. Okay, let's make it and offer to Krishna and do it, beginning. So that's we purify our desires. We are not Mayavadis, just cut, give up everything. No, you stay. In family, you help them, you love them, you care them, knowing well that they belong to Krishna, and training them that they should be connected to Krishna. That's the purification of the desire. Krishna gave us that family. But desire is natural, attachment is natural. Not only we cry for our family members, we cry for others also. Why? Because they're part and parcel of Krishna, and we have relationship with them. So from material desire, thinking that I, me, mine, you come out at Krishna and everything relationship to Krishna and my responsibility in it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You very nicely explained. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Amal, want to say something, or Mataji, who is? Okay, we'll stop it here. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Vancha
Kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.